Hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the third in our series of online panel discussions, Conversations on Glass by Apice, which is taking place as part of this year's edition of the Venice Glass Week. We're now in our fifth edition of the international festival dedicated to the art of glass here in Venice and Murano, as well as online. It'll be taking place from the 4th to the 12th of September 2021, so do check out the programme online. My name is Camilla Purden, and I work as the festival coordinator, which is organised by a committee made up of 5 organisations with expertise in the field of glass. We have l'Istanza del Vetro and the Fondazione Giorgio Cini. We have the Fondazione Musei Civici di Venezia, the Istituto Veneto di Scienze, Lettere ed Arti, the Consorzio Promovetro Murano, and the Comune di Venezia. This year, as part of the festival, in addition to our physical events all around the city, we're thrilled to have a series of online discussions presented by Apice, a company who's leading in its field of transportation for works of art, but particularly for works of glass. Conversations on Glass by Apice is the name of the programme. Every day during the festival, we're presenting discussions on various aspects relating to glass, involving high-profile figures from Italy and abroad, with the aim of providing a platform for reflections and discussions about glass. The conversations are happening in English rather than Italian and are designed particularly for those who perhaps aren't able to be with us here in Venice this year. The title of today's event is called A Glass Journey, the Art and Science of Packing and Transporting Glass from A to Z. And we'll be hearing from some of the stars of the team of Apice, who, when I was introducing another talk yesterday with one of the curators, she referred to her Apice relationship manager as the angel of their exhibition. Apice is fundamental to exhibitions, particularly in Venice, but around Italy and beyond. So we are delighted to be including quite a few of the Apice team today. An important thing to say is that at midday, so immediately following this talk, we will be presenting online on the same YouTube channel of the Venice Glass Week, a new video presented by Apice called Discover Apice's New 3D Scanning Technology for Glass and Beyond. So do stay online after this conversation has ended, and you'll have a chance to actually see this extraordinary new 3D scanning technology that Apice has developed and is continuing to develop for glass. Just to point out as well, we're streaming live at the moment during this conversation on YouTube, and we warmly welcome anybody who would like to post a question for the panel to do so. If you just put it in via the chat function, we'll ask our moderator to put those questions to the panel at the end of our conversation. I'd now like to introduce our moderator, Marzia Scalon, who we're thrilled to have with us today. Marzia holds the qualification of Technician in Restoration of Cultural Heritage from the Istituto Spinelli in Florence, as well as a Master's in Fine Arts from the Sotheby's Institute of Art in London. She's worked as an independent registrar and a journalist, and is a member of the editorial staff of the Saggi e Memorie di Storia dell'Arte, which is a periodical published by the Giorgio Cini Foundation here in Venice. Here at the Cini, Marzia is the curator of the wonderful Glass Study Centre of the Institute of Art History, where she's coordinating part of the scientific activities carried on within the project of l'Istanza del Vetro. And actually during the Venice Glass Week this year, we have a wonderful opportunity to do a visit with Marzia of the Glass Study Centre. So if anyone's here in Venice and would like to do so, I highly recommend it. So without further ado, I will now hand over to Marzia. Marzia will continue the conversation, introduce our speakers, and at the end of this chat, she will just remind you all that at midday there will be the video, so we'll invite you all to stay online at that point. I would also just like to point out as a final note that as part of the Conversations on Glass programme, we have a number of other wonderful talks coming up, particularly today, which is Wednesday, the 8th of September at 6 p.m. Venice time, Italy time. We have a very special conversation called Chihuly and Friends. This is in celebration of Dale Chihuly, arguably one of the world's most famous and celebrated glass artists, who I know Apice has worked with. He is turning 80 on the 20th of September, so in a few days' time, and we're delighted to have a panel of very eminent friends and colleagues who will be talking about Chihuly's life. So that's today at 6 o'clock, and we welcome you to join us then. But for now, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Apice and to all our speakers, and hope you enjoy hearing more from them all today. So Marzia, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camilla. And I also would like to thank Apice for inviting me to moderate this conversation. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I'm starting very quickly by saying that the aim of this event is to explain and to enhance some important technical and technological aspects related to the handling, to the transportation and the displaying of glass artworks. And I'm just going to say some words about our panel, that is the first speakers involved in our today's journey. And they are Marta Pomiato, who is working as Apice exhibition coordinator for 14 years, and has followed a number of important private art galleries and museums projects. Then we have Ellen Vincenzi, who joined Apice already in 2002, and now she's the exhibition manager, and she's also in charge of the estimates of the company. So I guess, Helen, you occupy a key role within the firm. And then we have also Annalisa Gottardo. She's joining us as well, and she's in the technical department, and she focuses on the engineering aspects, that is on the setup museums projects and on the on-site installations. And finally, Alice Zanon, who is exhibition coordinator at Apice, and since 2012. The very beginning of our project, she's been taking care of all the projects realized for Le Stanze del Vetro. So I guess, Alice, you gained specialized, you are very specialized in this particular field of transportation. Well, I just want to say that I presume that all your roles really require high organizational skills and the ability to overview the general coordination of all the aspects of all the activities, from the very first steps, the very first visits, to the smallest final details. So I'm immediately asking Marta if she can provide us with a general description of the main activities carried on by Apice. Marta, it's over to you.
Thank you, Marzia, and thank you, Camilla, too. And I'm glad to know that in addition to Charlie's Angels, we have Apice's Angels now. And actually, we can say that we are artworks angels in the sense that we take care of transporting artworks for around 40 years now. Apice was born 40 years ago, and it's a result of several leading companies located in Italian territory, but in the main cities of Italy that are Rome, Milan, Venice, and Florence. This allows us to cover the entire Italian territory, having base in the most important Italian cities, the cities that are full of art and artworks and rich in history. Therefore, we can maintain our services with a high standard, really at the highest levels of current art shipping. We are also the Italian referent of a network, huge network of leading companies in sector in the biggest countries of the world. Our network is made of at least 80 art transporters, 80 of the best art transporters in the world. And we cooperate to offer the best quality in all aspects of our job. And Apice, we can say that Apice stands out in the market for the exclusive amount of integrated services we offer to the customer from A to Z. from collection to showcases, crates, site visits, all kind of services are provided by our companies. And actually, we can say that the cutting edge of our company has always been the design of the packaging with a really high level of accuracy. We really take care of these aspects because it's the first step of an accurate transportation of our artworks. This is very important for us.
Brilliant, Marta. Thank you very much. I do agree. You are recognized as one of the highest, the company with the highest level of quality and professionality. Now, what about Helen? What about you? And can you tell us something about your specific role?
Yes, first of all, hello to everybody, and thanks Marzia and Camilla for hosting us today as well. And yes, being the estimate manager, besides exhibition manager, I get to get in touch with the owners of the artworks as first step. So I'm the first contact usually in case of exhibitions with the lenders or owners in case of, like galleries or something like that, or private collectors and so on. So I'm the first person whom the client speaks with. So when we start talking about the estimate, the first things that I ask are about the sizes and specifics of the artwork. So I start asking for the sizes, the material, if there is any particular situation like a big antique frame, or if in case of sculptures, how is the sculptures, the weight, and so on, the shape. And then it's very important also to know the location of the work, because most of the times museums are located in ancient buildings with difficulties of access and narrow street and so on, because museums are usually in the city centers. So when we actually understand the situation, when we see that on the first contact that there are some particular situations that we need to check physically, then we send a technician, an art handler of ours, who can check exactly how is the situation, because if it is like an average painting with average sizes, an average frame and so on, there is not really the need to check, to go to the location to see the work. In other cases, we send a technician of ours to check how the situation is. If, for example, the painting is too big to pass under the doors, like it happened in the past in a museum, we had to transport a Goya, which was very big, which is very big, and so big that it can barely pass under the doors of the museum itself. So we had to take it out of the museum and to pack, to crate it into our truck. So in those kind of situations, we prefer to go to check before doing the operation, to avoid any kind of problem, any kind of delay, because we are not, transporting normal stuff, but since we are talking about artworks, we want to be sure to be as much professional as we can be. So site visits are taken to check all the situation, the sizes, and also in case of, when artworks are upstairs, we have to check, like in Venice, where our office is located. We have many challenges for the transport. So there are no lifts, of course, no elevators inside the buildings. So we have to check how to take downstairs the artwork. So we have to check also the stairs, how to transport the work downstairs, if it is better to transport downstairs without the crate for the safety of the work, or without. So this is the first steps that we take when we get in touch with the client. And after after this, when we have all the informations, then we pass all the details to our colleagues of the carpentry in order to make the crates. So our company Apice tries to be, of course, as much green as possible, because we want to, to help the environment about, using and reusing like the crates in order to save wasting of materials. And for this, we have a big storage of empty crates that we reuse as much as possible. Of course, when they get ruined, we throw them away, but as much as possible, we try to reuse them. So when we get the sizes and the situation and the details of the work, we check in our storage. If we have a crate, if we already have a crate that can fit the work that we have to transport, and we prepare it for the work itself. So we refurbish it. If it is necessary, we change, like, for example, the screws, some parts that can be ruined from previous transports, and so on. The part that is always changed is the internal part, because that part is always tailor-made for the work that we have to transport. So it's always new foam, a new internal part, and so on. And for this particular aspect, I ask Annalisa to give some more particular technical details.
Yes, sure. Hi everybody. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having us. Yes, as Helen was saying, we got this technical choice of keeping the external, treating the external with a different procedure of the internal, as we can have tailor-made supports that are going to be decided based on the necessity of the artwork. So the external part is usually of wood, and as we reuse them, we can keep the highest standard of having them fireproof and with customization of Apice features, while the inside can have different materials and different forms and protection tissues that are necessary for the artworks. These criteria are based on the analysis of the artwork, which basically is the shapes, the dimensions, and the weight. We have a beautiful picture of an example. Maybe Alice could show us of the last exhibition, the Aquarius. Yes, these are some example of crates. Yeah, you can put that again. So the inner part is, of course, the one with the double crate, the smaller one, with the black foam, white foam. Those has different specifics. While the hardware, the hard part, is the outside part, the wooden one. Here as well, you can see there are also extra protection below. The green thing are shock absorbent for the transportation. The different fitting for the inside are chosen based on the object, and we can see in the picture of the Aquarius for the last exhibition of the Le Stanze, Arc of the Glass. Yeah, here we can see how wide could be the range of different techniques, just for the glass, for example. So for sure, we can easily grasp that the central red coral is pretty different from the solid glass we see on the side with the jellyfishes. There is a difference for sure about weight. geometry of the artworks, and we start study first with the lender and with the curators, the restorer, to check which is the history of the artwork, to see if it has been transported before, which is the feature that has been highlighted by previous handlers, and we check it ourselves. We try to get as much information as possible from the object itself. For example, as you mentioned before, there's the 3D scanner technology that we are implementing. That is a really interesting one for gaining a lot of information regarding the surfaces and the geometry of the artwork. We can have this information useful for the packing, and also there's another aspect for the restorer with reference to the condition reports. When the artwork arrive at the exhibition venue, they are checked, and when there is an existing report of its condition, it's easier and useful to check the before and after.
Great, brilliant, Annalisa. I would pass over to Apice, who's got this specific experience in the Stanza del Vetro project. But then we will come back to some points that you mentioned, because I'm really interested in the internal parts of the crates, the materials, and the 3D scanner as well. So Apice, can you talk about the initial phases of the exhibition, and then what happens in the exhibit before the doors open?
Yes, so first of all, thank you, Marta, thank you, Camilla, and thanks also to my colleagues as well. I have the best job, I think, because I can see the exhibition when it is formed, because of course the most important part, as Helen said before, is the site visit for first, absolutely. Also because I will show you later, we had for a past exhibition, the exhibition of Capellina, we had, for example, some stained glass windows, very, very big. They came from Murano, and we had to take them. They were, if I remember well, more than 2 meters high. So of course it's important to consider how to pack and to transport little pieces, but we have also problems with the big ones, like Alan said before, the Goya, and we have also these big glass sculptures that we have to move. Of course, when I checked also if I have a video, because moreover, from the other European countries or US, they are always worried about, okay, so how do you transport them in Venice? And we answer by boat. And so they always are scared about this, because, you know, we have the boat, the water, and so it's not so, it's dangerous for them. This is not, absolutely, we are prepared on it. I have a video for this, and if you want, I can show it for you, because as you now I try to share the video, because we use not for all the crates, but for a lot of them we use these boats with the crane. What does it mean? It means that we have to use and help to hang them up and down, of course. Now, as you can see, this is for the transport for the Stanza del Vetro exhibition, and you see again our crate with the skid mates to absorb the hertz and movements during the transportation. We have this big crane. Of course, this is a little one, but as you can see, we have also other bigger. And we use always this kind of transport. Just to show you, I think this is wonderful to see it, because people can't understand if they not live in Venice, what really happens here. And when we have, after this passage, which is the more dedicated, we go inside the exhibition place. In this case, the Stanza del Vetro, it was for the Venice American Studio Glass last year. And we had a lot of artworks, for example, also the Ciuli ones, and the other crates were for Ciuli chandeliers. A really wonderful exhibition, in my opinion, like always with this project. And for example, this video was about the Ciuli. As you could see, we had a lot of big crates. So into these big crates, we had all the boxes, 82 boxes to be precise, which contained all the pieces of the chandelier. You have to think that we have to understand when we open the crates how the handlers and packers on the other side, so in the US in this case, they do the job. So it's not so easy because in all over the world we have different systems. Of course, at the end, when you understand the procedure, you can go home. But at the beginning, it's not so easy to do this. I can show you, for example, another chandelier that we moved for Le Stanze del Vetro. And we had to spare all the main part, so the central one, and then all the other arms had to be separated to put in other crates, and then we had to assemble again with an electrician, because as you can see, we have also the light problem. But with the cables and with the electrician, we have to collaborate. And I search now the final solution that is amazing. I don't know if you remember this part, but it was absolutely fantastic. More? No, I don't have it. But it was put on another internal base at the Stanza del Vetro with a black mirror all around, and all the lights were shared in every directions. Maybe we can see also some other pictures about other, as Annalisa said before, we had a lot of type of different glasses, the blown one or the full one. But as you can see, maybe before on Monday, if I remember well, there was the conversation about l'Arca di Vetro, so about the exhibition now showed in Le Stanze del Vetro, and I show you some particular photos. As you can see here, also the crab and the dachshund, my favorite one. I show you also these ones, for example, to transport this little, very, very little butterfly. We have to use some little, not crates, but little containers, and with some cotton inside, and then put them into the internal wooden boxes that you saw before with Annalisa. And then I think more than 20 or 30 little boxes into one crate. And this was for the Amadi project. Yes, I have a lot of examples.
Yes, we can share some more images if you want, but regarding this butterfly or even the crate that Annalisa was showing, it's a sort of matryoshka, no? Where you find a big crate and you think there is a big artwork inside, and then you find countless boxes inside, and you have to open them. And can you show the crate again? You know, the slide that you shared with us at the beginning when Annalisa was talking, maybe, because I'm curious to know when you say sometimes you have to deal with crates and boxes that have been prepared by correspondents, foreign correspondents, or from the private collectors as well. I think they don't have the capacity to deal with the cotton tissues, and I mean, they're not professionals. So can you maybe tell us some curious stories about private collectors? Does anybody of you remember a story about a collector, or maybe Chiuli? I think, how many pieces did you have to assemble? Do you remember? I mean, you said 82 boxes. But how many pieces? Maybe more than?
I think more than 200. Yes.
More than 200.
Sure. Yes.
So,
also because we had also some extra parts just to be sure that everything went well.
right.
Moreover, this was the first time that we changed also the location, because we went to the Carnelutti, as you know. And we have to fix them, so 2 of them. We have to hang them at
On the ceiling, yes.
Ceiling, yes, thank you, Marta. And the other ones were just under these 2, but you have to check it with the light and everything. Is the complexity of the chandeliers were good and also well to see for all the parts. And but for example, we have also now some chandeliers at Istituto del Vetro, and we have to hang them to the ceiling. Also for this thing, we have 2 parrots in a gap. And but yes, we have also a lot of private lenders, and they are scared too, because sometimes also for another exhibition that we did in 2018, always here in Venice, we had a lot of private lenders that sent by their own the packaging, so the artworks packed into their crate or their boxes to be sure. And when we opened it, we found some newspapers or I don't want to remember what I found.
Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can help you. I remember during the Thomas Stern's exhibition, there was a textile sculpture as well. Or, you know, do you remember Soxa's exhibitions? Soxa's exhibition, we had those hanging pieces, the hooks and the some parts that were glued, so they were placed on the shelves and were very delicate. But I also remember that we had some pieces with liquids, so I guess it's do you receive prescriptions from the artists? Do they usually send their team or their assistants to help you? How does it work?
Yes, of course. We have always, so not with COVID, unfortunately, but usually we receive also a lot of courier with the artworks. So some museum will want a courier, so a specialized person who can follow the artwork, and they have to be present at the installation and the installation. If they are not here, and with the last exhibition of Vetro, for example, that happened in COVID period, we couldn't have them. We couldn't join them in Venice, but we have to do it anyway. So Zoom, for example, was a good help for us, because of course we can think something how to install them, but of course if this is not our artwork, we have to ask to the museum how they want to do this. And so yes, I think that with this period we learn to work each other also with other parts of the world, with Zoom, for example, or other things, and it was a good proof, in my opinion.
Very challenging. Yes, of course, you mentioned COVID, and I mean, I have a natural question. How is it in terms of working with masks and keeping the distance? Is it, it's complicated for your team, because when you wear a mask, you have a limited vision. So is it more dangerous? Do they feel uncomfortable in handling classes with a mask?
I don't think dangerous, but of course it's uncomfortable, because not during the installation into the room of the exhibition, but outside, for example.
Let's stop you a little bit, because there is a noise. Maybe it's the line or a noise in someone's office. Could you all switch off the microphones? Maybe you can try to.
Can you hear me better now?
No, I hear a noise. Anyway, keep talking. Maybe it disappears.
Okay, I try like this. Maybe it's better.
Okay, it's better. Disappeared.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yes, I was telling about the movement of the crates, because you have to think that our handlers, also if they are 4 or 6 handlers to hang up the crate, it's always so heavy, so they have to stay with the mask, and at the end of the day I think it's terrible, and when they put them out they can breathe. Maybe yes, it's better. We have to, of course, because it's you can't use it, but during the installation it is not absolutely dangerous, because when we have glasses but also the other artworks in our hand, okay, we breathe and then we start again. Not a big deal by the sea, because maybe the mask arrived just here, so we try to use also the FFP2 in order to have a more attached to the face.
Yes, clearer vision.
Exactly.
So yes. Well, I would like to go back to Annalisa. Annalisa, you said that you talked about customization, so you have tailor-made supports. I'm curious to know, well, first of all, which kind of materials do you use? I don't need to have very technical explanations, but in general, which are the main materials that you use? And then somebody mentioned that 3D scanner. Can you tell me, just anticipate something about this scanner? That we will see the video later, but just to give an explanation of how the production of the internal part is realized.
Sure. I will start with the second question about the 3D scanner that gives us the sense of the whole process that bring us to the final result. Of course, as a first thing, as an introduction, our job is not like a solo show. because, as I said before, we are collaborating and gathering information from the other participants, which are the lenders, the owner, the curators, the restorers. And then with our technological part of gathering technical information is combined with the experience of our internal manufacturer, of the technical office, of everybody who has experience in the field, to exchange information and to have a wide approach to the artwork. So to come back to the scanning, this is basically a machine, 3D laser scanning, and the last edition is very, very accurate. It could go of detail up to 0.2 of a millimeter. So to give you an example, in a vase, it's possible to get the signature of the manufacturer in the 3D acquisition, which is pretty amazing. And we have a quite large detection of area, so we can go up to 12 by 10 inches of space that we can acquire data. And with this machine, we got a 3D model. That 3D model is something that we can render and work with it in order to figure out a drawing of the other part that we are going to manufacture to fill the crate. Then we have these drawings that we print to check them, and this goes to production to manufacture the internal supports. This is one side of the aspect of the 3D scanner. The other is another option that we can have more detailed acquisition regarding color, material, and shades. And this refers to the condition report aspect that I mentioned before, as we are going to more digitalized procedure that helps restorer to ease their work and to have a more accurate and objective, in a way, procedure. So when we have this procedure concluded, we choose the correct material depending on the necessity of the artwork. This 3D scanner is very useful when we have complex surfaces, of course, and with jagged lines, so we can grasp the all-around idea of the object.
Brilliant. If I understand well, you, I mean, a specialized operator needs to control the scanner, acquires the image digitally, then you print it, you get the executive drawings, and then how do you give the shape? I mean, how do you model the materials in order to host the piece? Do you I mean, is it a hand work? Do you model them by hand, or do you have maybe you can rely to a 3D printer, or in the future, are you thinking of a 3D printer as well?
This is something really kind of experimental, because there are new materials with new features that are chosen based on the object and of the type of trip that the object has to have. In a way, you can imagine it's different to have to for example, to ship an object with just with a boat, or if it has to take a plane, truck, how long is going to be the transportation, and which are the conditions of handling. Also the coordination with the other parts that in fact handle the object are very important. As Alice mentioned before, when we receive the artworks or when we send them abroad to the correspondents, we have to be very clear about the steps and the procedure to handle them. Because at the end, there is always the part that has to be done in reverse, and being very organized and clear is the base to execute the job perfectly.
Yeah.
If I may, there's another thing that apart this technical and exhibiting parts, we are also dealing with, for example, Art System, which is a company that conveys the didactics for the art, for the exhibition. As the Gottardo department produces also the vitrines and supports for the exhibition. And we have to convey, understand and convey with the help of a dedicated firm and relating to the curators, which is the main idea they want to convey for the public, and be able to sometimes compromise the required expectation with what is possible and what is good for the artwork, what is feasible for the safety and for the exhibition criteria.
Yes, I'm thinking about the glass arc. Is that we saw the jungle slide, the pictures, the picture of the jungle window, you know, the green hole. Is it a glass window or a plexiglass window? Do you need also to stick the objects when they are not placed inside a window? How do you manage these aspects?
The showcases of the stanze are always made in glass. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting point because not in this occasion, but sometimes we have to balance if going with plexiglass or with glass, and it depends basically on dimensions, because there are limits to the production of the glass sheet or plexiglass sheet, the weight of it, because glass of course is heavier than plexiglass. But then there's another aspect that, for example, with glass, we tend not to put glass behind plexiglass because they are kind of contrast materials. So it is a kind of delicate aspect. But with le stanze, we usually always go with the glass. And here, yes, the upper parts, which is part of the exhibition design, it was very nice. This is simulating a jungle, and our tissue, if I remember well, of different colors hung to the ceiling.
So you have different figures to interact with. I mean, you have the curator, the registrar, all the different teams that work in parallel in the exhibit, and then you also had to interact with the scenographers in this specific case. Did you know them? Did you get the executive drawings from them?
Yes, we had quite interesting relation with this architect's studio. There were two girls who were very, very precise in giving the first draft of what they wanted, because this is also an aspect of different detail from the designer, the architect that we relate to. Mm-hmm. And this was indeed very colorful and very playful in a way, mm-hmm. According also to the spirit of the exhibition that was meant to be also very enjoyable for children. So there are steps that help them to reach the height of the exhibition plan. Mm-hmm. and also catching colors and themes from the different areas of the world in each room. It's really enjoyable, also by adults, of course, and for children for sure.
Annalisa, we had to cut the lanes because if not, children wanted to do Tarzan with the dams. It was a bit dangerous. That's why they arrived just 50 centimeters from the ceiling. It could be dangerous.
That's another interesting part, because last but not least, we have to think about security, of course, of the visitors, that sometimes are so captured by the watching, by the appreciating of the artwork, that we have to prevent any incident that may happen in stepping into something and putting alerts to everything that could be anyhow dangerous.
Yes, I see. I remember once there was I think it was Thomas Stearns, there was a very dark hole corridor with a laser installation, maybe. So do you often, Alice, did you have to follow, I mean, did you have to follow this kind of criticities with the Centro Vetro, or usually glass is exhibited in a natural light atmosphere?
No, actually, the particularity of glass is also that they can reflect the light. So you can play with this. As I told you before, for Capellin, if I remember well, we had that chandelier reflecting to all the mirrors, the black mirrors behind us. You can joke, no, with glass, and I think that also if you have, for example, if you take a picture, for example, of a vase, and if it has a different background, it reflects also the color on the background. So I think that this is a particularity of the glass, that he can change the color also thanks to the landscape around him. For example, sometimes, we say, okay, when we have the list, okay, but we have just photos like 2 centimeters big, and we say, oh, do you see the pink vase? Oh, but this is not pink, this is transparent. Maybe there is something red in the background, and you see in the picture pink. So the light, the use of the light during the exhibition, it's very, very important for me. And so we have to study with the curators, also with this part for the exhibition. Thank you. This is a good question. Thank you, Marta.
That's the magic of glass. Well, I think we are coming to the end of our talk, and if there are not questions arising, I don't think so. Just let me resume some important aspects regarding this 3D scanner, which is a very recent technology. And if I understood well, it catches the geometry, that is the components of the object, and consequently it catches the complex shapes, and it must be also extremely useful in case of previous damages or small details or reliefs that must be marked and treated with extreme attention. And I will pass it over to Camilla, and just to tell you that we thank you in advance for following us in our YouTube channel, the YouTube channel of the Venice Glass Week, and thank you very much for being with us. Camilla, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Marzia, and also to all of you at Apice for sharing these incredible insights into into your work, the work that you do. It really is true. You were described as angels yesterday, and having listened to this conversation today, I can completely understand why curators rely so heavily on you. Gosh, what a nerve-wracking role you have. And I'm full of admiration. Yes, we're delighted to, in about 5 minutes, be moving on to watch the video, which we have lined up for you all. It might be worth, while we're actually online, just also reminding about some of the other talks that we have coming up in our conversation series sponsored by Apice, just so that you can all mark your calendars. As I mentioned earlier, this afternoon we have a very special conversation dedicated to Dale Chihuly, who celebrates his 80th birthday on the 20th of September after the most extraordinary career. I know that, as we've heard today, Apice handled one of his most ambitious works as part of the exhibition at del Vetro. I can't believe how many pieces it had to be broken down into in order to be reconstructed. So we will have Dale Chihuly joined with his wife, Leslie Jackson Chihuly, who's president and CEO of the Chihuly Studio. We will also have Tina Oldknow, who is the independent curator, art historian, and former curator of modern and contemporary glass at Corning Museum, and she was one of the co-curators of the Venice and American Studio Glass exhibition last year, together with William Warmus, who, as well as being an independent curator, an art writer and critic, also curated that exhibition. We're pleased to have Benjamin Wright, who is the artistic director of Pilchuck Glass School in Seattle, as well as Roberto Beltrami, who is the founder of Murano Glass, Wave Murano Glass. He was actually inspired to pursue glass as a career directly having seen an exhibition of Chihuly's work. So it'll be a fascinating chance to hear from all of them, I think. Then tomorrow we have another very interesting topic. Thursday, the 9th of September, we have at 11 o'clock Venice time, we have a conversation called Going Green, Sustainability and Glass, where we have a range of speakers from Murano and Venice, but also beyond and around the world, looking at this issue of how the glass world is, but also could be doing more to make itself as sustainable. So we have a wide range of eminent figures talking to us then. We have an event dedicated on Friday, the 10th of September, to the great artist who sadly passed away not too long ago, Laura de Santillana. That is at Friday, the 10th at 6 p.m. Venice time. And then finally on Sunday, the 12th of September, we have a panel discussion called Cutting Edge, Innovations and New Technologies in Glass, which will be moderated by writer and communications expert Thea Havlin, with a range of figures from different schools and studios around the world. So really, Apice, we're very, very grateful for this opportunity to expand the horizons of the Venice Glass Week. For those who perhaps, due to reasons relating to COVID or otherwise, are not able to be with us here today, to participate in the many exhibitions and conferences, workshops and guided tours that we have around the city. The fact that we're able to organize these online panel discussions is really a very, very nice way for us to involve the public from around the world. And so, yeah, just once again, would like to thank you all for the wonderful work that you do and for supporting the Venice Glass Week again this year. So, as I said, at about midday, which is coming up shortly, we will end this conversation and we will allow you all to, who are watching online, to enjoy this new video about the 3D glass scanning technology that Apice is pioneering. So, yes, without further ado, I'd just like to say a great thank you to Marzia and to all of our wonderful speakers today. And we look forward to seeing you all again soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Camilla. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody.
Camilla, bye-bye.
avete in mente che potreste portare l'oggetto della commessa 10385, numero 82, per favore? Ok, grazie, ci aspettiamo.
Comunque adesso che stiamo aspettando un nuovo oggetto, c'è una nuova funzionalità, la quale permette, oltre di prendere la geometria, di riuscire a rilevare anche i colori dell'oggetto, quindi le linee. In questo modo abbiamo una versione più accurata, ma riusciamo appunto anche a vedere i materiali dove è composto l'oggetto.
È molto interessante, però magari in questo momento, siccome bisogna di andare avanti con la produzione, proseguiamo con una scanalizzazione base, per cui posso andare avanti con la produzione.
Va bene, dai, magari
lo vediamo dopo.
Perfetto, perfetto.
Bene, incominciamo con togliere il piccione, gentilmente, imballato nella sua scatola.
Che infatti riusciamo a catturare qualsiasi dettaglio. Prima con la vecchia tecnologia questa cosa ovviamente non era possibile, e riusciamo anche a ricavare la firma dell'autore, infatti arriva un dettaglio fino a 12 mm. Sì, questo scanner 3D è proprio un'ultima tecnologia. La forma del vaso dell'oggetto è perfetta per questo utilizzo. E inoltre è molto grande anche l'area di rilevamento, infatti riusciamo ad arrivare fino a 30 cm per 20, che è sorprendente. E così riusciamo a conquistare, a realizzare tutte le geometrie dalla realtà e direttamente alla workstation. Secondo me possiamo anche procedere all'altro pezzo, all'altro progetto.
Bene.
Sì, ha proprio una forma particolare, però è molto bello, è un oggetto veramente stupendo. E così riusciamo veramente a catturare ogni sua forma. Dopo la resa sarà in un unico modello 3D quindi riuscirò a unire le due parti per fare un unico modello.
Bene.
Così può mandare direttamente in produzione tutto.
Perfetto.
Ok, la scansione è finita. Io manderei il modello 3D nell'ufficio tecnico così lo elaboro.
Perfetto.
Va bene.
È arrivata la scansione?
Sì.
C'è già lavorato?
Sì,
Bene, puoi vedere, per favore. Benissimo, direi che va bene, possiamo mandarlo in stampa. Sia tutto in ordine, tu cosa dici, Francesco?
Infatti possiamo notare qua che grazie appunto alla scansione siamo riusciti ad arrivare a queste definizioni di questi iconi, che abbiamo così un invallo proprio perfetto,
Molto
come un guanto.
Molto bello rispetto al progetto. Va bene Erika, direi che possiamo mandarli in produzione.
Ok, comunque adesso se ti va bene posso farti vedere il nuovo supporto grazie al quale appunto riesco a rilevare anche il colore dell'oggetto.
Forse è meglio cambiare un oggetto che abbia un po' di una felicità maggiore.
Sì, forse è meglio. Allora lo fammi fare. Intanto io prendo per il supporto.
Va bene.
Ah, perfetto, è bellissimo colore questo. Ok, siamo pronti. Possiamo iniziare.
Bene.
Così appunto oltre alla geometria riusciamo a vedere tutte queste sfumature, tutti questi colori in modo ottimale. Ed eventualmente si possono anche poi modificare attraverso l'utilizzo di un altro software, la quale mappatura viene appunto modificata e poi reinserita nella sua esatta posizione.
Questo si può vedere anche tutti i eventuali
Certamente.
molto importante che
Questo è il valore in più. Poi si può anche appunto verificare lo stato quando arriva l'oggetto.
Certamente.
Se è identico appunto allo stato di partenza.
È una cosa molto importante nel nostro mestiere.
Ok, allora anche questa scansione è fatta, è stata velocissima.
Bene, perfetto, è arrivato. Procediamo.